For more on this, let's bring in former military pilot and co-chair of the U.S. Helicopter Safety Team, Chris Bauer. Chris, you just heard Nate's report there, and we have a soundbite from Philadelphia's Mayor Cherelle Parker. Here's a little bit of what she had to say just moments ago. Listen here.
It was only afloat for a very short period of time before something went terribly wrong and it crashed.
So, Chris, obviously, shortly after takeoff, and Nate said it was less than a minute that this Learjet 55 crashed. What are your initial reactions to this? What do you suppose may have led to the trouble they got into in very short order?
Thanks for having me. What a tragedy, and my thoughts and prayers are with the families and the victims of this disaster. And looking at the data, the granular data of the aircraft and its departure from the airport, it achieved an altitude of only about 1,650 feet off the ground. It looked to me like it was initially accelerating normally, but then it stopped. It seemed to have leveled off, and then it started a descent. What's interesting about the speed of the aircraft is it doesn't increase as precipitously as the rate of descent. So at one point, the aircraft began to descend at about 2,500 feet a minute, and then that looks like it sort of leveled a little bit, and then ultimately wound up descending at over 11,000 feet a minute.
Wow.
A descent like that is horrific. Even to be inside of an aircraft that's descending at that speed would be completely incapacitating in terms of the
Chris,
G-forces.
We're just showing on our screen now for viewers. If you could just play that one more time. We actually slowed the descent down because I knew you would have such good insight. This is actually a slowed down version of the descent, which you said 11,000 feet. You can see it coming just to the left of your screen there. It'll come into frame here in just a moment. But even at that precipitous rate of the descent that it's coming down, what are the usual causes for something like that to happen? Is it engine failure? Is it pilot error?
Well, again, I don't want to speculate. I'll leave that the investigation up to the NTSB and the responsible authorities. What I would offer is in previous accidents what might have caused this. So one clue, and I think it was pointed out earlier in the broadcast, when the pilots departed, they missed the radio calls, and the tower was trying to raise them on the frequency, and they didn't respond. And that is indicative of a crew that may be completely task saturated with an emergency or incapacitated. Incapacitation could happen, hypoxia, but the aircraft's not that high of an altitude, so I wouldn't look there as hard. Another clue is looking at this rate of descent, as if the aircraft was either in a high-speed stall or perhaps an uncommanded deployment of a thrust reverser. And a lot of these aircraft have had issues in the past with uncommanded thrust reverser deployment.
Well, we shall see where it goes. As we know from all NTSB investigations, they look at three things: the human aspect, the machine aspect, the environment aspect. Before I let you go, though, I do want to get your insight because you have extended experience flying Blackhawks, or the Air Force's version, the Pavehawk, same bird. What do you make of what happened Wednesday shortly before 9 here in Washington?
What a tragedy, again. And I would just wanted to say, as the co-chair of the U.S. Helicopter Safety Team, we also want to lend our support and assistance to make sure this doesn't happen again. We're also offering our peer pilot support program to the helicopter first responders that were on scene. I can understand firsthand what they are probably going through as well. The Pavehawk, the Blackhawk, and the different variants of it, what a tank of an aircraft. I had the opportunity, I flew the longest helicopter rescue mission in history, and that was done on a Pavehawk over 16 hours. I basically flew it into a winter hurricane in the middle of the Atlantic that took out a 450-foot freighter. That aircraft is about as close to being indestructible in terms of reliability and dependability for the operation. I think systemically, though, there's issues with having this route that the crew was flying the training that they were conducting. Aircraft on dissimilar frequencies, so you don't have everybody communicating with each other where they could be made aware of each other. I think ostensibly everybody was doing what they were supposed to do, but the system itself has a lot of faults in it that can lead you down this path.
Well, we shall see where the investigation goes, and of course, Transportation Secretary Duffy has restricted helicopter flights within the commercial airspace around the Reagan National Airport. He did that yesterday afternoon in consultation with the president, but we'll see where this all takes us. Chris Bauer, chairman of the U.S. Helicopter Safety Team, thank you very much for taking time.
Thank you for having me today.